giving you the real from A to Z surrounding the Dallas Cowboys. News, updates, rumors, transactions, takes, and more. So strap up, Cowboys Nation, and start your day off with A to Z Sports. Live with Will Steele.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go. Hit, hit. Good morning, good people. Welcome to A to Z Sports Live. We are streaming live on YouTube. And of course, I am your host, Will Skywalker Steele. Boom! Today, we turn the page, ladies and gentlemen. We are turning the page to week 2. Cowboys, Saints, getting our first look at what is a different challenge. A different challenge with this Saints offense. A better challenge to me. This Saints offense against the Cowboys defense. A good test. If the Cowboys want to advance later in January, this is a good test for this defense coming off of a great debut. So we'll dive into everything Saints offense and give you some background info, why I think this is a different challenge. And of course, as we always do, we'll take a look at some of their key players and how they not necessarily match up, but some of the things that they, challenges they present to the Cowboys and some of the things they don't do so damn well. We dive into everything here when we break down these teams. Y'all know that. Y'all know how we do. Before we get into that, though, we do have the roundup. And in the roundup, there's some contract news and some unfortunate news that could benefit the Cowboys. We'll see how that plays out. Hopefully, to be honest with you, it doesn't. No one wants to see that happen. But it's a good catch by some of our reporters here at A to Z. So we'll get to all of that today. And, of course, you can call in 351-999-3787. And we can rap about whatever is on your mind. What's good with your Bomb Squad?
Bomb Squad!
Shouts out to my guy, Jay Tuck in the building. Just looked over CFO Sports, killing the film breakdown. Just, what was it? Nealon? What was it, Tuck? You had Nealon and you had Kendricks. Make sure I go check out those 2 film breakdowns that he dropped. Appreciate y'all for starting your Cowboy Day with your boy. And I promise you, no animals will be harmed on this show. Jokes. If you can't laugh, this ain't going to be the show for you. Let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen.
It's time! It's time! It's time!
It's time. It's time.
It is time for...
It's time for the morning roundup. Round 'em up, boys.
Let me talk to you.
Let me talk to you, Cowboys Nation. So, I was looking on Twitter. I saw my cousin's name pop up, and immediately I said, what they saying about Cuz? Oh, he restructured his deal. Okay, nothing too crazy. All right, just making sure. So, the Cowboys, I guess, approached Terence, or maybe this was already in the contract, to restructure. Interesting that they did this. I don't know that they necessarily needed to, but maybe there's something coming down the pipe. I don't know. They take Terence's base salary from $7.25 million this year down to $1.6 million, which saves $4.5 million on the cap. That puts Dallas around $26-28 million in salary cap, which they'll likely carry over, maybe use that to add a guy or two, which they necessarily didn't need $4.5 million to do so, but maybe they add a guy or two during the season. But this is likely going to carry over into the offseason next year, where they'll do some more restructuring, free up some more cap space, and we'll see what they decide to do with it. That's a whole nother discussion. But this kind of gives me a chance to talk about Terence. We didn't say a whole lot about Terence yesterday when we did our film review because he didn't have a bad game like a lot of people assumed. So a lot of people here and everywhere wanting to kick Terence off the bus. And I'm like, wait a minute. go watch the Packer game, man. Not just the Packer game, but if you want to go look at his most recent performance, he looked much better. And in this game, Terence looked like pre-ACL Terence to me. I thought he handled Myles Garrett very well. He really didn't get a whole lot of pressures on his side. In fact, I think one, you saw run game Terence. You saw athletic Terence. Much better start to the season in week 1 than last year early on in the season. And I expect him to continue to grow and progress and get back to that 2021-2022 Terence Steele. I think by the season's end, Terence would be one of your more trustworthy right tackles again, and we won't have to have this conversation anymore. Now, if Cuzzo come out here and make me look stupid, then he ain't Cuzzo no more. He third cousin. He marriage or something. Y'all know I throw his ass right out. But I feel very confident in Terence. So just wanted to point that out. By the way, Duke Manyweather dropped a video where he took us behind the scenes and Terence Steele and Tyler Guyton preparing for Myles Garrett. Really good stuff. I hope he decides to do this a lot. One of the benefits of having Duke Manyweather across the street from the star, it's probably a cheat code. But as I was watching it, I was like, I wonder what Mike Solari is thinking. I mean, like, these are my players. I'm teaching them one way. Are you teaching them something? I don't think that's the case. I think they're on the same page, but I just find it interesting. You know, leading up to the game, Duke like, nah, this is what you need to do. And I'm like, yeah, listen to Duke. I don't know what Sleepy Solari is doing over here, but listen to that man. I know he don't want to be an offensive line coach, but I'm just glad he's across the street. That's all. Unfortunate news down there in New Orleans. They have a tropical storm, Francis, on the way. And this is a good eye here, a good catch by our own Mauricio Rodriguez and Adam Holt of A to Z Sports. I didn't even notice this. You know, apologies, because that's serious stuff. But according to, was it Catherine Terrell of ESPN, the Saints are staying on notice regarding Tropical Storm Francine. I'm sorry. The storm is expected to intensify into a hurricane by Monday night or Tuesday morning. So I guess this was earlier in the week via the National Hurricane Center. So I'm not really sure where this storm is at the moment, but if I remember this happened a few years ago and the Saints had to come practice somewhere, I think in Houston, maybe. I know it was in Texas somewhere. So if this thing does get out of hand, or maybe it went through and it's fine, this could alter how they practice, their schedule, and obviously that would benefit the Cowboys because the NFL was so routine during the season. You guys know this. Any little thing that trips you up that way could have a bad effect on the routine. Hopefully not. Hopefully everything is good to go. This was, again, yesterday's news, so maybe it already passed. I don't know, but we'll keep an eye on that because if they do have to travel into Texas to practice, that'll take away a practice day or so, and the Cowboys will have that type of advantage. They are playing in Dallas anyway, so maybe they'll just be closer to where they need to be come game day, but it's not like New Orleans is that far anyway. So there you have it. Today's morning roundup, Cowboys Nation. Shouts out to U-Bomb Squad. Terence restructures. And we'll follow this tropical storm Francine. Hopefully nothing comes of it. You know what I mean? But if they do have to travel, gives us a little tiny advantage. And I'll take anyone you can get against this New Orleans Saints offense. You might be like, well, Scott, what are you talking about here? Look, this isn't week 1. This isn't the Browns offense where run game Moses is not there. Not really afraid of that run game. I told you guys Jerome Ford doesn't do anything for me. They outside of Cooper, not a whole lot of weapons. Plus Deshaun Watson to me is worse than Derek Carr. Every facet of the Saints offense is better than the Browns offense. And I like that. Good. And you know what? I said this the other day too. I'm glad they dropped 47. I went back and watched. I'm glad they did that on the Panthers, the poorest Panthers. Had a viewer of the show, shouts out to you on Twitter, was like, hey man, when I was talking about certain aspects of the Saints offense. Just, hey, man, that's the Panthers, though. I was like, you're right. But don't watch the Saints offensive tape watching the Panthers, right? Watch how the Saints are operating, and you can get a better idea of how the Cowboys can combat that or what they do that you have to watch out for. And right off the bat, like I usually do, I take a look at the offensive coordinator. And Clint Kubiak hasn't called a whole lot of plays in this league. One season as an offensive coordinator, and that happened to be with the Vikings under Mike Zimmer. But when you hear the last name Kubiak, if you are a historian of the NFL, you know automatically you think about the OG Shanahan tree. You look at Mike Shanahan, right? His pops was under that, and his own father, Kubiak, has his little tree, his way of doing his offense. And then Kubiak was with Kyle Shanahan last year as the pass game coordinator in New Orleans or in San Francisco. And like I just said, there is history between Zimmer and Clint Kubiak. He was an assistant under Mike Zimmer for a few seasons. He was a quarterbacks coach. He was a quality control coach. And then he became the offensive coordinator in 2019. Two different stints with Zimmer, but 2019 is where I think the league was like, oh, there may be something here. That year was the year that Kirk Cousins went on to go 33 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, and 103 quarterback rating. And when you went and watched the Saints offense, immediately, right away, you start seeing that Shanahan, OG Shanahan, Kubiak influence, like his pops, not him, on this offense. And I'm talking about in both the run game and the pass game. And here are some of their key players here. We're going to touch on all of them, but I want to focus on the bookends here, the running backs at the moment, Alvin Kamara and Jamal Williams. What makes this run game interesting and, in my opinion, much better than what you saw last week, there's a legitimate 1-2 punch with these two. But again, schematically, you're going to hear me talk about that a whole lot. Schematically, they're going to challenge you at the second level. A whole lot of pre-snap stuff, post-snap action. And it's not always just eye candy. It's not. They'll get elephants on parade, post-snap, in combination with some of that pre-snap stuff. And they'll get guys out there and say, okay, Kamara, for the most part, find some grass and go. When you look at this Saints run game, you got to kind of look at these two guys individually. It's a traditional 1-2 punch. I will give them credit here. Here's where I will give them credit. They know that Alvin Kamara, in order for him to be the top of his game, he's going to need to be complimented in that backfield. It was Mark Ingram for a long time. They replaced Mark Ingram with Jamal Williams. I respect it about them. Wish the Cowboys did that with Tony Pollard, but that's a whole nother different discussion. Williams is more of the battering ram between the 20s. He's really not going to threaten you with huge plays. And at least from what I watched last week, and again, last week, you got to take some of it with a grain of salt, but also you got to look at the how. You can't just look at the results. Look at the how. And Kubiak was empty in the clip with his looks. But he's more of the battering ram. He's not going to break a lot of, big plays, doesn't have a lot of wiggle. One thing I did pick up with them is if he's in the game, they usually have a fullback, and they're not going to do a whole lot of pre-snap stuff. They're not going to run him outside. He's going to be in between the tackles. He's going to try to soften up the defense, but he does have a nose for the end zone the closer he gets to the end zone. So you'll start to see him surge up a little bit. Get around that 20, 25, 15, 10. He'll start to surge up a little bit. That's where he specializes. Remember, a couple years ago, he led the league in touchdowns with 17, and I think 14 or 15 of them were goal line situations. But he's not the guy in that backfield as Alvin Kamara. We all know about Alvin Kamara. We know he gets banged up. We know he costs a lot of money. But when you put that to the side, if he's healthy and he's playing, he is the guy you got to focus on. They made an emphasis on getting Alvin Kamara involved from that C gap out. So from the tackle out. He had 15 carries in that game. 11 of them were from the C gap out. So it's going to be critical, right, to contain the edge and be just as good as you were last week at that second level. You want Alvin Kamara to be forced back inside where there's help. You want Micah and D-Law and Nealon to push him back inside to your fast, high football IQ linebackers, right? You want that to happen. If not, we know what Alvin Kamara could do when he gets out there. He's just as explosive. He's just as dynamic. Nothing has changed in that manner to date because he's not hurt. Later in the season could be a different story, but that's not our problem, right? So you have to be wary of that. And then obviously he can catch the ball at the backfield. That's one of the main things he does better than any running back outside of maybe Christian McCaffrey. He can be a legitimate weapon. He can run legitimate wide receiver routes. He can take dump offs. They'll screen him. They just like to get him the ball in space. He can be a quote unquote satellite back, but he's also a legitimate running back too. Not number two, but also. So you got to watch out for Alvin Kamara. Jamal Williams is going to be more of that ground and pound guy. And the how when they do it is so much different. You'll see it look much more like a San Francisco, much last year, I'll say this. I don't know about Green Bay this year. Green Bay, it looks like that. It's not going to look like you saw last week with the Browns. So, like I said, a different challenge this week. I love this challenge, though, because you're going to run into likely a San Francisco, a Ben Johnson, a Green Bay again, maybe the Saints. Who knows, right? Hell, I don't know what's going to happen with Atlanta, but I think Atlanta has a similar situation too. So you're going to run into an offense that does these things. You want to be tested, and you want to be tested early and often, I think, this season to prepare you for later. Now, before we move on to the pass game, a guy I don't have up there, Taysom Hill. I said I'm not going to be petty. Try not to be petty here. I just want to talk about Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill is just a tough SOB. He's just a football player, right? They list him as a tight end, but he will line up at tight end. He will line up at fullback. He'll line up at running back. He'll line up at receiver, and he'll line up at quarterback. He's the ultimate wild card. And even without Sean Payton, they've continued to find a way to get him involved. I mean, you saw Derek Carr lined up at receiver, Taysom Hill at quarterback, running a wildcat, pitching the ball, handing it off. They said, we're not going to get rid of this guy, even though we switched offensive coordinators. We're going to find a way to use his talents. Now, he's not going to have some crazy game, but he'll have this run where 11 yards, 10 yards, first down. Tough, breaking tackles, and it'll get them charged up. You have to match his energy when you meet him with the ball. He was a starting quarterback against the Cowboys years ago, 2021 or 2, something like that. The Cowboys handled him well, but he ran for like 100 yards. He's not going to do that. They're not going to use him that much, but he is that type of football player, though, where he's a wild card that, he's over here too. You forget about him, he'll make a big play, and next thing you know, they get some momentum. So Taysom Hill is a part of this run game. He's a part of this offense, and the Cowboys could have their own Taysom Hill, but we'd rather him cost you 5.5 on a cap and sit on the bench all yeah. We'll leave it at that. No petty will. No petty will. Before we move on to the pass game, let's just recap this here. We'll get a caller or two wrapped to y'all, and then I'll give you my thoughts on their pass game. But the run offense, this will be a real test, y'all. A much bigger test than Ford in that offensive scheme with that offensive line. This offensive line, a little better on the tackles. We'll talk about that. It's a little better in general, probably, because they played backups last week. So I got to give them the benefit of the doubt. But it's the scheme for me. It's the scheme combined with the players. They have it down pat. They have the 1-2 punch that you want to see, that thunder, that lightning, and they have the scheme that complements those guys. Like, remember what I said on Tape Tuesday? I was like, I understand our running backs, the Cowboys running backs, they have specific skills. that you can lean into. I don't think there's one running back that you are so confident in being a game breaker, but each one brings something to the table. And I don't know that the Cowboys are going to lean into that week in, week out. They will. I'm pretty sure Kubiak will do that. And they did it in week 1. Jamal Williams, a lot of A-gap, B-gap stuff, power run game in between the 20s. Alvin Kamara, we'll get him out in space. Let's get him on the edges. That's where he thrives. They're going to lean into that, so you got to be ready for that. Let's wrap to 929. Good morning, sir. 929, you are live, sir. Or ma'am, I'm sorry. 929, we're going to pass you off to 215, Mr. Glenn. Good morning, man.
Hey, what's up, Sky 929? Must have fell asleep,
I must have bored him to death. I talk too much, I was told.
Content. What's up, nephew?
How you doing, man?
Very ironic. I was just talking to a couple of my buddies. The last time, well, not the last time, but when I think the first or my second game in Texas Stadium, if those of you are old enough, it was during the Hurricane Katrina era, that year actually, and the Saints, and it was, that was devastating, and you had a lot of individuals had moved to the Houston and the Dallas area, and the Saints came in the stadium, kicked our butts, Reggie Bush, and they had a fullback or a tight end, Caucasian white guy, that he was like a killer in the league. And he was like their third down man. We couldn't do nothing with him. But they came in. It wasn't just the team, but the New Orleans natives came in that stadium. And I'm from Philly, and I was so disappointed. They took over Texas Stadium. I mean, it was ugly. They came in and took that stadium over. And I've had a bad taste in my mouth ever since then with them damn Saints. Pause if necessary. But just a little bit of nostalgia. I think that was my first or second time visiting Texas State.
What year was this?
It was, Katrina. That was
05, 06?
Yeah.
So probably 06. Probably when they got Breeze's first year.
Yeah. I think we had Romo, Julius Jones. We had those characters, as Vach would say, the backfield characters. But we weren't that good that year. I think we were one of those 8 years. But they came in and kicked our butt. But I have a little concerns. It's ironic you also still got signed. That was one of my questions I was going to ask.
Restructure. They just moved his money around.
Yeah. I saw that. I was watching your tape from last night. And he had a pretty good game, but when he gets beat bad. And I think you showed, it was
Terence
on a run
didn't
game.
get beat bad on Sunday. So our left tackle got beat bad a couple times.
Yeah. He's a rookie. No, Terence got beat bad on one of those run plays when we got negative yards or something. You showed it in your film. You weren't pointing it out on him per se. But he got beat bad, and Zach, I am afraid of Zach. How you feel about Zach the rest of the season?
Zach will be fine.
Sure?
I'm more so trying to fight you on Cuzzo. Cuzzo had a good game, bro. But if you're gonna hold one play on him, then that's fine. But he had 70 plays, and he was good in like 68 of them, like real good. So Cuzzo played well. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, I'm just wondering because he admitted he had a bad year last year, and I'm wondering what was it, So I'm just that's just my concerns. But the run scheme, Bill Callahan, can you tell me Bill Callahan's scheme versus 49ers' current scheme? Is it similar? What is Bill Callahan? Because we haven't been that great in the run game.
He's stretch zone, wide zone type. But he ain't stupid. So he knows how to adapt. He can do some inside zone stuff too. But he's more of a zone guy. He wants the offensive line playing on a string. One of the best to do it, man.
Okay, all right. Thanks for that. I just wanted to know because the film you showed, some of the things I was arguing about, with the CB Nation 2 years ago. People blaming Zeke. And I think it was me and Special K, or me and Antoine was saying, it's more the scheme. It's not Zeke. Yeah, we know Zeke is older. He's not the Zeke of, MVP and leading league rusher and all that. But that scheme we had since Callahan left is horrible, and you showed it in your Tuesday tape. It's horrible. So hopefully, we can beef it up and do some damage this Sunday. Cowboy Nation, let's keep moving. Thank you. Thanks, Sky, and we'll see what happens Sunday.
Indeed, man. Indeed.
Thank you.
Before I get to the next, because we're talking about the defense, I had looked over. I saw a special case said Taysom didn't do nothing on Sunday. Two things I saw, matter of fact, I remember now. That's the thing about Taysom Hill. He doesn't need to have a crazy game. Taysom Hill carried the ball 5 times and averaged 7 yards per carry. I'm telling you, if he does that, that's 7 yards per touch on the ground. That's good. That's something. That's not nothing to me. But he also blocks. Go watch him get out after in the blocking. He also is a threat to catch the rock, so you have to account for him in that manner. I'm not saying Taysom Hill is one of the best players or whatever. He's a wild card. That's what I meant by that special K. And also somebody in the chat, again, I feel like I'm going to have to reiterate this because a lot of people, this happens every year, so it doesn't surprise me. When I'm breaking down each team, a lot of people, they come in and like, oh, well, they ain't this and they ain't that, or they played this, they played that. When you're watching a game like this, Saints against a porous team, I don't give a damn about the Panthers. I'm not watching what the Panthers do. I'm not watching how the Panthers play. I'm watching how the Saints play. I'm watching what they do. I'm looking at their scheme, looking at their players and how they're playing, and then I take that information, relay it to y'all, and we talk about how the Cowboys can do X, Y, Z against it. So, I feel like I do this every year. A lot of y'all come in, y'all say, oh, you sound scared or something, or oh. No. We break down each opponent. I'm only going to do this once. I'll probably do it again tomorrow for the defense. But if you're here during these breakdown shows for me to be like the Cowboys going to win at 40-0 every time, that's not what I do in the breakdown shows. We actually look at the film, look at the statistics, break down the players. We really dive into this thing. This isn't cookie cutter, popcorn, microwave stuff. All right. So I just wanted to reiterate that for those who, come in or are new. There are new people here and you don't see a lot of this. A lot of the times it's very surface level stuff, and I don't like surface level stuff. It's not fun. It's not interesting to me, and it's really, I think, a disservice to you guys. I like to dive into this thing. So that's that. I'll get back to the phones real quick, and then we'll get back down to the breakdown of their pass game. 337, good morning.
Yeah. I'm a Saints fan. I got one question.
See this, I love this. A Saints fan called in. I was going to look for a Saints reporter to try to come on here, but a fan, let's talk to a fan. What's up with you?
Yeah, because I got one question. This because you said, well, I ain't know, but like they saying Diggs is going to be on Olave, okay?
Well, I mean, he's not probably going to follow Olave. If he's lined up on,
he probably will.
I don't think he will.
Just because y'all second, just because Blaine's out, I wonder who's gonna cover Rashid, because Rashid's speed, nobody can touch that from y'all's defense. Y'all know.
Well,
that's just like Tyreek on.
Well, this is a great segue into, we're going to talk about the pass game. Yeah, Rashid got some speed. So did Jerry Jeudy. He has speed, but this scheme is.
Yeah, but Jerry Jeudy ain't on Rashid type speed.
Jerry Judy's like 4. Jerry Judy's
he's running with Tyreek.
Jerry Judy's fast. Look, Jerry Judy is fast as boy. Jerry Judy fast as
he's
boy.
Fast. I'm an Alabama fan. I know he's fast.
Exactly. So the point is, sir, relax. The point is, this scheme is a scheme that is supposed to take away that type of stuff. So it'll be up to Mike Zimmer to combat your scheme to get Rashid deep. And we're going to talk about Rashid Shaheed here in a second.
You take the deep shot open. I got this question. That's my backup question. I'm just trying to see. Okay, you take Rashid up, like you say, Taysom Hill. You got to watch him catch the rock. You got to watch him go on Johnson. You got to watch him roster. I don't see y'all's linebackers matching up with our tight ends because of speed.
Sir, you don't know nothing about our linebackers. Okay. So I respect you calling. Hey, this is a warning to you fans that come in here that don't know nothing about my show. If you ain't got caller etiquette, you're damn sure finna get do-rag Sky. Don't say something. Wait for me to rebuttal. And I start to rebuttal and you're cutting me straight off. This ain't talking New Orleans Saints, sir. Go take that somewhere over there in the third ward or something. Now, I appreciate you calling through. I appreciate you coming through. But this isn't cookie cutter content here. And I ain't a cookie cutter creator. You coming here saying the Cowboys don't have linebackers that can keep up with Jonnu Smith and Foster Monroe, who I respect and we're going to talk about, then you know nothing about our linebackers, and I'm trying to explain to you. We have one of the fastest linebacking corps in the National Football League. We have a literal linebacker who plays safety in college. We have one of the brightest and smartest linebackers in Kendricks. Don't tell me they can't keep up with them. Y'all better get him. Y'all better get him. He don't know. He new here. He new here. Drummer Cam, you better tell him, dog.
Hey, man. I didn't expect that. Oh, man. Olave?
You know, look, and I hate to do this because I respect their guys, but come on, dog, don't come in here and act like we ain't faced some ridiculous wide receiver cores before.
Hey, that's all right. We don't get credit for the Browns win. We're Cowboys. It's fine. I'm used to that. But don't tell me we have linebackers when our linebackers are fast as hell because we got Overshown, we got Kendricks, and we got a whole other little foul, a whole other little guys that were on rotation. They stay fresh. Right. And it's week 2, dog. I'm not worried about coverage with our linebackers. I'm not worried about our defense at all. I'm concerned about our wide receiver core and our running back room. Because if my issue is if they're going to triple team CeeDee Lamb, where's their offense going to come from?
Well, Drummer, today is about the Cowboys' defense against their offense, so I'm not really going to dive too much into that because I'll study their defense today and give you more of a take. But what you're basically saying, though, is probably a concern each week. Now, nobody's triple teaming nobody down and down out. But essentially what you're saying is if they take away CeeDee Lamb, how do we get by offensively? I mean, that's a valid concern until we get more games up under our belts where maybe that happens. Easier said than done, right? Easier said than done. Teams have wanted to do that all last year, and CD had a record-breaking season. But eventually it's going to happen, and how do you combat that? That's a question that I don't think that McCarthy answered last year.
Right. No, I agree. But on point, though, from the Cowboys defense standpoint, what is there a matchup, whether it's this week, next week? We got a couple of hard ones coming up, Baltimore, Pittsburgh. Is there a matchup against one of these O-lines that's coming that they'll give you a solid confidence in what the D-line can do and their talent? And, if we go up against a really good offensive line and we're still getting 2-3 sacks a game, maybe more, lots and lots of pressure, is one of those matchups coming up? Is it the Saints? Is it the Baltimore? What are you looking for matchup-wise to say this defense is legit? This defensive line is legit.
Well, I think it is. I think it is a good defensive line. The depth is the question, right? Like we outside of after Nealon, who's your third guy, who did we really see do anything? That's the question. The defensive end depth. They went out and got Phillips and they got Linval. That helped the interior depth. So I think it's a legit line already. I don't really necessarily need to see anything. But for legit defense, this is a good test. I think this week is going to be a good test to see how your defense plays against this particular type of scheme. Because you're going to run into this scheme again in the regular season and probably in the postseason. So answer your question, I think it's already a legit defensive line. Now, you could argue depth-wise on the defensive end situation. That's a concern. But overall, I mean, you got veterans and Phillips and Linval. You got a young guy in Oso who his arrow's been pointing up. Mozzie, is he amazing? No, but he played good week 1, so we'll see how he progresses. And then you got the defensive end. That trio is a really good trio, and Micah, D-Law, and Nealon. So I like the D-line. I just don't like the depth at end.
Anyway, that's all I got, man. I appreciate you. Keep doing you, and I'll put that do-rag in your back pocket. So
hey, man, dog. He had me pull out the Dewey talking about we ain't got no linebackers that can keep up with Foster Monroe. Get the hell out of here, sir. Now.
Have a good one, Scott.
All right, salute. Now let me pay some respects to your team without coming in here and acting like y'all the goddamn 2007 Patriots, okay? Because you're not. Let's get back to it. The guy brought up Rashid Shaheed. I like him, okay? He's a good player. About to make me talk some shit about it, but underrated is what I would say. One of the more underrated deep threats. Doesn't get a whole lot of love from there. But last year, 31% of his targets went 20-plus air yards. That was second in the NFL. So they're going to push the rock. They're going to push the ball downfield, so your safeties are going to have to be ready. They had a play on that 59-yard touchdown last week where they beat cover one. So it was a really good cover one beater, right? They attacked the safety with a deep end, and then they had Rashid run a deep post behind it, and the safety committed to the end, and you got one-on-one with the corner deep. So I don't think you're going to see a whole lot of cover one. We just had, who was it yesterday, y'all? John Owning on, and we talked about how the safeties rock and roll. What he basically means is, depending on alignment, you'll see a safety already in the box, and if they shift or something happens, you'll see one will rock, one will roll. Maybe they both start at corner or at cover two, and then at the snap, and you saw this in the film we showed you with the Vikings, you see one of them rock down into that middle area, taking away basically a robber roll, and then you see the other one roll back and play deep. So they're going to mix it up against them a whole lot, I think, in this game. But you just got to be wary of not just the speed of him deep. They like to get the ball to him either deep or right now. One of the two. There was a play, I didn't clip it up, but if you know Kubiak, if you know this scheme, lots of boots. They love to get under center, run the boots, and get the quarterback out wide. And I know with Cousins, they love to roll him out, stop, and they'll have a deep over shot on the opposite side of the field. The Chiefs love to do this. The Kubiak scheme does that. But one little wrinkle I saw them do in that game was they got under center. They had the offensive line, looked like it was a wide zone left, play action. And instead of him rolling out, he stops, gets the ball right to Rashid, the right tackle, right guard, get out for a screen pass, and he gets like 11, 12 yards. So that's an easy button play, wish we do more, for them. And it's off of, we talk about the pass game mirroring their run game, it's off of the run game. So Kubiak, I think he really, really unloaded the clip. And that wasn't the only kind of cool look that they did. He put a lot on film for you to prepare for in this game. But Rashid is one of their deep threats, got to be wary of. Olave didn't have a great game. Not that they really needed him to, but he was very quiet in that game. He had one reception, one true reception, one down for 2 for 11. The one was a deep end for 17 yards across the middle of the field. And then they did one of those little push passes behind line of scrimmage where he lost 6 yards. That was it. But he is their wide receiver one. At some point, they're going to force the issue to him because he's their guy. They didn't have to do it last week. What they did was they used the run game and they used their tight ends, and Olave just was kind of part of the offense. But I feel like when things get a little tight, and it never really was in that game for them, they're going to look for Olave. And the Saints fan that called in said that he that's the other thing. So you can think all you want to think. You're not talking to some guppy. Like I look, I may not be an expert in a lot of things, but I'm an expert in the Dallas Cowboys. Okay. Yeah, y'all going to travel digs with Olave. All due respect to Olave. Unless he's just absolutely murdering Kalen Carson, no. And if you watched the game last week, that will show you, they're not going to do it. So anyway, whether he's on Carson or whether he's on Diggs, it'll be a fun matchup. And they're going to try to get Chris Olave involved. If not, they'll supplement that with the tight ends. And I know I was kind of joking around with Foster Monroe and who's the other guy? Jawan Johnson. God, relax. But they did target them 7 times in that game. The Titans got 6 catches, 2 touchdowns, and 69 yards. And if you go back and you look at Kubiak's lone season as an offensive coordinator, their tight end, I think it was Conklin at the time, was their 3rd most targeted wide receiver or receiving option with Minnesota. So maybe Chris Olave's targets go down in favor of more of the tight ends. So they're going to use those tight ends. And yes, I think the Cowboys have the linebackers to keep up. I don't think this guy really understands who Kendricks, Leafau, Clark, and DeMarvion Overshown are. These guys are all run a 4.4, 4.5. They are those type of athletes on the field. And if Kendricks is not as fast as he was, he still is very bright and smart up here. His football IQ is through the roof. So there's nothing you're really going to throw at him that he has not seen. And that's one thing that was encouraging last week about the second level. Remember in years past, the eye candy. I mean, we just could deal with it. Whether it was the defensive line, whether it's the linebackers, it just got the Cowboys way too much. You didn't see all that. It was a very sound, disciplined defense at the second level, and they took advantage of that. So, good test, a much better test, I think, this week in that essence. But I do want to show this one play where they scored a touchdown with Juwan Johnson, and it very much, again, off of their run game, short pass game, and you'll see it was very familiar from a play or two you saw last year. And this, again, Kubiak coming from that Shanahan tree. Let me show you the play and how it basically captures that. They're going to show this kind of tight alignment with the wide receivers and running backs, and they get this pre-snap motion with the tight end. Then they'll get some post-snap action that looks like a toss or a screen. Olave is going to sell the block, get out on the route, and so is Juwan Johnson. He's going to sell the block, and he's going to sneak out wide open. And when they sell it that way with the running back, with Taysom Hill, and you got the quarterback holding the safety, look at the defenders. They're all reacting to what looks like a swing pass, screen pass type situation. And next thing you know, Juwan Johnson sneaks out wide open. Now, Derek Carr, I don't know why he wasted the last damn second here, but I mean, he's open immediately for an easy touchdown. And this is all scheme. This is all schematics here. So if that looks familiar to you and it's giving you some PTSD, all you got to do is go back to the San Francisco game, where San Fran stole the Detroit Lions play from earlier in the day, did a very similar play, had some of that jet sweep type of movement after the snap that got your safeties holding, but they rolled out elephants on parade with the tight end going the opposite way, which was Kittle at the time, and he sneaks out, sells it, sneaks out wide open. PTSD doesn't end there. Green Bay Packers, same thing. All three of these plays were different but the same. Same thing. Tight end motions to the left at the snap. They're doing a play action. Looks like he's going to block. Sneaks out wide the hell open on the back end for an easy touchdown. Different coordinators, different scheme. Discipline's a lot different here. But I doubt that they're not going to run this type of play. It may not be early in the game. It may be later. They may set it up. They're going to run some quick stuff. They're going to get the ball out to Taysom, get the ball out to Alvin Kamara, run some stuff to the outside. The next thing you know, boom, they'll try to sneak that tight end out there. So the difference, I think, between last week and this week is the coordinator is going to utilize his wealth of skill guys more than last week. I don't think they had a wealth of skill guys. Personally, to me, it was Jonnu Smith. Oh, I'm sorry. It was David Njoku. And it was Amari Cooper. I know they had Jerry Jeudy, first game. We don't know how they was going to use it. They scored a touchdown. Run game, didn't believe in it. And they couldn't block it up. But, Scott, you haven't said anything about the quarterback. I didn't. Derek Carr is still the Q. And Derek Carr against the Carolina Panthers, who are not good at all. Probably the worst team he's going to see all year, had a very efficient game. 19 to 23, 20 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Escaped some pressure, got 13 yards. But see, that bottom part there is going to be the night and day difference. I've seen Derek Carr dealing with pressure. He ain't the Derek Carr you saw in week 1. And you know what? Shouts out to them. Whatever. They blocked it up well. He was only pressured 3 times. Per next gen stats, it was one of their best blocking performances in years. Only 19.2% pressure rate in week 1. The lowest since week 18 of 2022. 1 quick pressure. Now, Mr. Carr, Mr. Kubiak, and I doubt you're doing this, but if you think you're going to come into this game and you think you're only going to get pressured 3 times, you're mistaken. The Cowboys are going to be better on the back end. They're going to be better rushing the passer. They're going to make Derek Carr's clock speed up. He's not going to be able to hold the ball a whole lot. And if he does, good. It means he's running around and he's going to get got. Also, talk about linebackers, you're not going to have to pull a linebacker to play spy in this game. Derek Carr not running like that. You had to do that. You literally had to do that with DeMarvion Overshown. Zimmer talked about it. He was our spy against the running quarterback. Derek Carr's not doing that. Derek Carr is more of a sit back in the pocket. He may try to move around, but I saw a lot of times in this Saints game or this Panthers game, and kudos to him, he delivered a 59-yard touchdown where he'll just sit there in the pocket and he'll throw the rock with pressure just beaming down on him. This is a totally different animal defensively. So you're going to see 3 pressures maybe in 2 series, as opposed to 3 pressures all day. He was able to sit back there and just dot up this team. How you get that pressure? This offensive line is not playing backups like last week, but Trevor Penning and Talisi Fuaga, love Fuaga coming out. That's going to be a fun matchup to watch. Still as a rookie at the end of the day. But Penning, to me, better tackles this week. I'll give you that. That's mouse in the house. That is mouse in the house this week. We'll do matchups later. Maybe I'll revisit this. But me and Foots were talking about this weeks ago. Micah on Trevor Penning. You better chip. You better help. Hell, D-Law on Trevor Penning could be a problem too. So I think you're going to get a whole lot more pressure on Derek Carr in this game. And the Cowboys are playing at the crib. So if you're going to the game, can you please get a little loud, make it tougher on these young guys? And I wrote this on Twitter and I dropped the video. One thing I respect about Mike Zimmer, and not saying that this wasn't the case, like I don't know. He didn't come out and say it. But Mike Zimmer basically came out and was like, we have to do a better job of getting Micah Parsons in even better situations. Because one thing they didn't do, the pass rush didn't do last week, after 17 pressures, or 17 quarterback hits, 23 pressures, and 6 sacks. Dominating performance in that instance. They didn't get a lot of quick pressures, right? We talked about that with John Oney. And Zimmer knew that. Zimmer understood that, and Zimmer said, I got to do better. I knew they were going to come out and do X, Y, Z, but as coaches, we got to do better. In fact, I'll let Mike Zimmer explain it to you, and I appreciate that. I appreciate this,
There was a lot of times I wanted to use some other ways, but we didn't get to it, so we'll save them for the next couple weeks. But, he's a dynamic guy, and we want to try and get him a lot of different places and do a lot of different things with him. They have to figure out where he was. We got a lot more of the double chip protection in this ball game than we anticipated. And we knew they did it, but we need as coaches, we need to do a better job of helping him out with some other of our alignments so that he's not getting chipped every single play.
I appreciate that. Again, the pressers are going to be so different between him and DQ. DQ come out there and we're gladiators and we're fighting, and you get in that dirt and you dig your feet in, and it's all look, it's great rah-rah to the media, 100%. Look, I fell for it. I got hype about it, and he's praising every single last player like they're the greatest in the world, and you feel good about it. Make them feel good. I brought this up yesterday with John Oney. Hey, Zimmer, how'd you feel? What did you like about the rookies? They play well. They cover well, and Zimmer doesn't know how to. He's not a presser guy. He tackled well and did a good job. Next, it's like he's about to sit here and blow these dudes' heads up. They asked him about the overall defense. He said the defense did. The defense played how the defense was supposed to play. Mike, what is that? I love it though. It's night and day from Dan Quinn. So the defense played the defense like it was supposed to play the defense. Yeah, I guess it did. Good. Don't let these dudes get in their head this early because they have a tough matchup, I think, this week. And look, I always say this. I don't like to overreact from early games, especially after 2 games or 1 game or whatever. You give me a handful of games. But this matchup in particular, the Cowboys defense against this particular offense with Kubiak, these weapons, I think it's a good test. I think it's one of those, what did we call it a few years ago, those checkmark games for different reasons. Not that the Saints are a Super Bowl contending team or anything like that, in my opinion. But their offense, the scheme, how they use their players with this particular coordinator, you look at a handful of games and you say, okay, this is one of those tests that if you pass this test, you can take this and say, okay, we played a similar scheme. We did well. We're going up against another one with a similar scheme or players, play callers, whatever, maybe a better quarterback or a lesser quarterback. It's a check mark game for the defense, for sure. So there's my kind of synopsis. Here's my overview. Let me just say that. On the Saints offense, good test. Love to have this test. But if they think this is the Panthers defense, they're in for a rude awakening. You will not see 3 pressures, Derek Carr. You might get 3 pressures in 1 series. As slippery as Deshaun Watson was, Derek Carr might make you miss a here and there. He ain't gonna make you miss that damn much. So I look forward to this matchup. All right, back to the horns. Y'all poured up in here. We ain't gonna be able to get to everybody. I'll be damned from being here at 12 o'clock. But we'll get to the privilege. Let's wrap to our guy, Jay Tuck of CFO Sports. What's up, bro?
Hey, what's going on, bro, man? Yeah, bro, almost had to see Do-Rag Scott, man. I thought you almost...
I pulled it out for a little bit. Yeah, these fans come here talking all crazy. They got no phone etiquette.
Yeah, bro. It started out good, man. You started to slip, man. But anyways, I want to kind of piggyback off what you said, man. At first, I was a little skeptical personally of the Zimmer hire because I was like, are we going to let Zim be Zim? Like, I wanted the real Mike Zimmer. I didn't want the watered down, just happy to be here Zim. And it sounds like for the most part, what we've been hearing from the team, it's like, he cussed out Diggs, he'll cuss out, you know what I'm saying? So we are getting the real Coach Zimmer. And I posted a clip on Twitter, man, and what I think that we're seeing that I like week 1, like it's just this week 1, y'all, but you combine the scheme and the philosophy and the defense with the depth, you know what I'm saying, but also with the skill that we actually had. So there was a situation last game where he walked, I think it was Overshown and also
Kendricks.
I think it was Vigil. I think it was Vigil, actually. We're going to clip it I posted down into the B gap, right? And so what that created was it was one-on-ones for everyone across the board. They left DeMarcus Lawrence unblocked on the backside. Marshon Lattimore just beasted the center into the backfield, forces Ford to cut back, and he runs right into DeMarcus Lawrence. So I think that everyone's playing with gap integrity. They're actually just doing their job and trusting that their teammates are going to do their job as well. But then I also think what's happening, Sky, is, and you talked about it earlier, this linebacker core is different. It's different, y'all. And y'all know I love the linebacker position. That was my position. Because typically what we have is we have IQ guys, but they don't have the athleticism. But when you combine Maris Leofau, you also combine Kendricks, even though he's 32, he's moving, faster than what we had. And then you had Overshown and also Damone Clark. I feel like they're able to see it, read, and react a whole lot quicker than what we had in Dallas, and it's going to help at the second level. So, overall, y'all, I like this defense. We're getting interior push from, Joseph and also Phillips as well. And then you toss in Marshon Lattimore and Osa in the mix. I think this Dallas Cowboys defense is going to be good, but also different than what we were accustomed to in the past under Dan Quinn.
I'll say this about your initial thought process of being a bit worried that they would let him be him. Historically speaking, they always let these defensive coordinators be them. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. You go back and look at all the way back to Rob Ryan. They let Rob Ryan go crazy, and he was a mad scientist that basically pushed himself out the door. Then you bring Rob Marinelli in and Kiffin, and they let them do their thing. Then you brought in Dan Quinn. They let Quinn do his thing. So they usually let the defensive coordinators do their thing. The one thing I was shocked at was that they didn't get Zimmer his big boys until late. That was one thing where I was like, what are we? There's no way. I mean, we just evaluate the team on YouTube and stuff, and we can see that this interior defensive line was too small. So what are we doing here? All right. And even McClay came out and said, we want to get bigger down the middle, but you didn't do that. But then they eventually did. Yeah. So, and so that never really worried me. What worried me, when I say that didn't worry me, I mean them letting him do his thing. What worried me was, are you going to get the pieces for him to do this? Because he's got a lot of the pieces. Right. But now that you beef up that middle, he can play the defense to the highest level, in my opinion, without having to compromise for what he doesn't have. Because I've seen him do that in Minnesota when they had injuries and they drafted bad, and it just became a wreck because, like any coach, right, you need to have good players. And he ran out of those good players in Minnesota at the end, and it looked like, oh, Zimmer's washed. No, Zimmer's not washed. Like, his philosophy is still being used around the league.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And I think that because, he waved the white flag, during camp because he set up at the podium. I forgot what day it was. He was like, Mozzie's playing well, but we need more noses. He was saying like, no, bro, like I need more noses.
Hey, Jerry, we need some big boys down there, man.
Yeah. So I just like what I saw. So like I said, overall, man, it's a good first showing. And like you said, last game, the Browns, they ran a lot of 11 personnel, one tight end sets. The Saints will kind of mix it up and go, they'll run some 22, they'll run some 12 as well. So they'll go a little bit bigger. So I'm going to be curious to kind of see, because we played a lot of nickel last week, how does that transition? But overall, I think we're going to be in a good situation. Like you said, Sky, it's like we're getting these mini tests to build up to the final exam, right? So we're getting a little bit like, I call it like the fake Gucci belt version of the 49ers offense, kind of stacking week by week until we get there. So then that way we'll be able to handle those misdirections and those pre-snap, motions and double motions and all the window dressing because we've seen it throughout the course of the season versus just running into San Fran getting caught blindside because we haven't seen it. So it's going to be a good matchup. The Saints does have talent. This is not last year's Saints team. I know a lot of people look at their records and who they play, the NFC South. Absolutely not. They got some talent out there, but I'm looking
it's not
at
a
the
bad
Cowboys
team at all.
At home. Not a bad team at all. They were even a good team last year, right? So it's like, I think that, being at home, now normally I would be nervous because it's a noon game, it's the Saints, but it's a home opener. I know Cowboys fans are going to be out there. Saints fans are going to be all over the building. I think it's going to be revved up, and the Cowboys play more comfortable at home. I think they're going to go out there and handle business, but it's going to be a fun test on Sunday. So appreciate you, my guy, man. Keep doing your thing, man. Get to all the callers and keep the do-rag off, bro. We'll say the do-rag until we get closer to Philly here in those weeks, dog.
Appreciate your talk. That's Jay Talk, man. Check him out, CFO Sports, everything. My bad. We're not going to the roundup. I told y'all I'm going to make this a bit. That would have been a perfect opportunity. I didn't have my do-rag on me. I know my wife can't stand my do-rag. I have about, 5 do-rags lying around because I lose one or something will happen to one. But I found it. But I already bought a new one. I'm going to buy a do-rag specifically for the bit. Because I could have just let bruh just keep digging his own hole. As I got the do-rag, put it on. I'm leaning into it this year. The villain arc is going to be real. I played nice for 3.5 years. I'm done. Let's keep it moving here. Hey, I got to hear from my guy, Poindexter, man. Poindexter, thank you last week for giving me one of the greatest phone clips of all time on this show. Thank you, sir. I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, man, that foolishness is over now, man. We in for the season now. That got his bag, you know what I mean? So we all finished with that. Now, it's funny. We're talking about the Saints. but I just wanted to reiterate this here that I had said before. You know, the Browns can be 4-1 going into Philly. Okay, their next games is against the Jaguars, the Giants, the Raiders, and the Commanders. And they can come out of that and be 4-1 going into Philly. So that's, you know, we played really good against the Browns, but I don't think the Browns are that bad. They have a great defense.
No.
I don't think.
I agree with you. It's a good team that has a bad quarterback.
Yeah. And, you know, we talk about defense. Parsons is well,
Mr.
him going at Watson when he batted that pass. That's because he broke down. Sometimes Parsons can be like a bull in the China, you know, in the China factory, where he just all out going at that quarterback. But he had the wherewithal to break down and to bat that pass down. Same thing was when they had him and Tank had him contained on the sideline, making sure that if he passed, they was ready to jump. And all of a sudden, Agent Zero, they looked around like, damn, where this dude come from? He came out like a missile. That was crazy. Mm-hmm. And I'm looking for the offense to get better, man. They I don't know the status of Jake, you know, but they are mixing it up, man, and the offense is gaining. But the Jalen's got to come through, man, because if they don't, man, you need to give Flournoy a shot. You need to give him a shot. And I did remember.
You just go ahead. I can't rebuttal nothing. Hey, Poindexter, a lot of things there, but I'll just say this on the last part. If you expected this passing offense to go crazy in week one, I tried to warn y'all that this Browns defense was a good defense. Now they came out and they were moving the pocket, yeah. They were doing well, and then I think the Browns really tightened up there. That is probably the best set of cornerbacks you're going to go against, and I didn't expect any of the Jalen's to really just tee off on them, in my opinion. But as we move forward, yeah, if those guys can't, you know, make themselves known in the offense, which they both had one reception and they were good receptions or whatever. But if they can't make themselves known in the offense, then yeah, you look for other options. But I think we got to slow down on any type of absolutes or concerns really coming out of week one. You could say, hey, these things need to be worked on, but I think when you look at the pass game, you got to take context, right? Like, look who they were going up against on the road in the first game. Me personally did not expect. Not just the Jalen's. I didn't really expect the pass offense in general to go crazy. So that was just me, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, and really, I'm just talking about, you know, down the road. You know, I know the offense has to gel and get together.
Right.
You have.
Poindexter, I gotta let you go, man. You keep going in and out. You keep going in and out. But appreciate appreciate the call, OG.
All right, my brother. How about them Cowboys?
How about Poindexter had a lot there. I'll touch on what he said earlier, the Micah play, right? That, and we talked about this the other day with another caller. You're seeing, and I said this with John Oden, you're seeing the night and day difference between Dan Quinn and Mike Zimmer to me. Like, Dan Quinn wants your edges to get upfield, and your tackles for that matter. Get upfield, get after the quarterback, play everything off of that. That's not Mike. That's not Mike at all. You have a specific job, and you saw that. You saw that in the run game. You saw that in the pass rush game. You saw a lot of the muddle rush. There was a play. It was a sack, actually. It was DeMarcus Lawrence's sack. D-Law loves to get inside, especially in the run game. But he stays on the outside shoulder, knowing that we got a running quarterback that likes to try to escape. Stays square, stays on the outside. I think it's Micah or the interior. Somebody pushes the pocket. It was Micah. Pushes the pocket his way, and he gets an easy sack because he's disciplined in that rush as opposed to just fly upfield. And what Dan Quinn wants you to do with them guys flying upfield in that way, you get more space to operate, and so do your tackles. So now your 3 tech and your 1 tech, if he's a pass rush guy, they can get more space to operate. It's not the case with Zimmer. And you saw the difference. You saw the difference with Micah, with D-Law, with the linebackers coverage, everything just looked to me night and day from Quinn and Mike Zimmer. That's why coaching matters. Nobody wants to ever talk about it, but coaching matters to me, man. Man, we got 1, 2, 3. Let me lock these things up. About 10 of y'all here. I don't know if we're going to get to all 10 of y'all, but we're gonna try to see what we can do here. Deshaun, long time no speak, man.
What up, guys? All right. So pretty much, I'm not that worried about the Saints, honestly, because I feel like they're kind of more overconfident, especially after the Carolina game.
I hope so. Please. I hope they come in here like.
I've been seeing a lot of people and like they're just gonna beat us, and they're kind of like because that Carolina.
A lot of Saint fans.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that makes sense, right? What you expect them to say? They gonna lose? Come on, man.
Well, that's true, but it's not just Saints fans; it's other fans in general too. But you know how it is. Honestly, I love Zimmer. Love him. Love the nuance. I love that he teaches the little things, guys. Little things has always been a pain in our, and so just him being able to just exploit that linebacker position and be able to have fun and be able to actually get interceptions. Scott, when the last time we had interceptions on a linebacker core?
Oh, yeah. It's been a minute since they had a whole bunch, yeah.
So, honestly, the only thing I want us to just work on in the sense of, I guess, as a team is just being not drying out. And I know in the second half, I know they kind of probably took their foot out the gas, but I just want them to collectively be consistent throughout the entire game, not just the first half.
Yeah, it's a weird game to grade them on because they clearly looked when it was 27-3 in the third quarter. They got the ball back roughly around 8 minutes or so. They clearly said we don't need to do anything else, and they went out there and it looked like a preseason game. The calls, they stopped running motion. For whatever reason, I said this yesterday. I wanted them to work on the run game, like definitely the how. They didn't even do that. It was just I feel like McCarthy didn't expect to be up that much, and he might have been caught off guard on what to do when he got up that much. And it was like, okay, let's just continue to run slants. We might have ran 10 more slants in that game after that. And I'm like, so what are we doing here? Just do the easy button things and get up out of here.
And then I guess my final thing. All right, so this is my question because I've heard a lot of people talk about it. What would you do in a situation there now that we have 4 good corners? We have Bland, we have Carson, we have Lewis, and we have Diggs.
Yeah,
so we'll be your 3 corners.
Yeah, 4 good corners last year. But go ahead. What's your question?
Oh, so what 3 corners when Bland get back? Who would you put in? Like, what would be the 3 corner rotation?
It's not even a question to me. It's the same that started the season. Your 2 All-Pros and your best slot corner.
Perfect. That's all.
Yeah. Appreciate you, I almost said D-Shift. D-Sean. Appreciate you, man.
Got it.
We don't have to manufacture mess. We don't got to do that. Not saying you're trying to do that, D-Sean, because to be fair, that question has been presented a few different times. But we don't got to do that. I think it'll play itself out. Let me say that. If J. Lou is playing terrible, then obviously you substitute him. I personally believe Jordan Lewis is not going to play terrible because the scheme fits him like a glove, and he's a dog in my opinion. And he had an underrated season last year that fans kind of looked down on. I didn't get that, especially given the injury he came off of, and he wasn't even your starting corner. He was a 4th corner. So it'll play itself out perfectly fine. But what I'm not finna do is act like I'm going to bench my all-pro corner when he comes back. Or I'm going to bench my best slot corner if he's playing like the best slot corner on the team. Once you get him back, you now just have 4 really good. You're going to need that. Trust and believe me. Like you see it right now. Injuries happen. So I'm not going to manufacture mess when it doesn't need to be. We're in the season now, man. All the versus each other stuff in the off season, that's good talk for the off season because ain't nothing to talk about. We in the season. You're gonna need all these dudes. All for 21 games, hopefully. Right? All right, let's keep moving. Let's talk to 100 grand. Good morning, good sir.
What's going on, my guy?
What's up, listen
here.
Go ahead, my bad. I just saw something in the chat. Go ahead.
Listen here, man. When we come out and we beat these boys just like we beat the dog pound. I don't want to hear the bandwagons go on and say, "Oh man, I knew it." This is that defense is ferocious, and you're going up against a guy that can't even run. He don't run. That's going to be like 4 to 5 sacks. Period. And why would you show maybe more than that? We might get a Chad Green game out of them boys.
You got Deshaun 6 times now. I'm just saying, dog. You got Deshaun 6. Now Deshaun is broke for sure, and this scheme is even better than Stefanski's. But he can't move like Deshaun. You could have had 10, and like you said, Carr not moving like that. So
Carr's not moving like that. We got 2 lockdown corners. I don't care what nobody say. He could have had 3 picks last game. We got 2 lockdown corners. J. Lou ain't no slouch in the slot. Come on, man. Is you kidding me? Linebackers is elite. Come on, man. Boy, it's going to be a problem on Sunday. I'm telling you right now, it's going to be a steamroll. And everybody's talking about, I just feel like y'all just find things to complain about. Y'all just look for something to complain about. Y'all, if everything would have went well.
Can you clarify on y'all? Hello?
The Cowboys fans.
Oh, okay. When you say y'all, you're talking to somebody that includes me. So I wasn't sure.
Not you. The Cowboys fans that just want to see something go wrong or expect everything to be perfect.
Oh, yeah. You're talking about those fans that wait for the other shoe to drop and be like, "See, I told you." Yeah. Those we call them the foul weather fans. They ain't fair weather fans. They foul weather fans. Yeah.
Right. Or you got fans that expect every play to just go perfect. It don't work out like that.
Yeah.
And then you have to watch the game and go according to the game. Why would you keep your foot on the gas if your defense got it on lock? The only thing that I can complain about Mike McCarthy about is your defense shut everything down. Keep your defense fresh. Run the football.
Right.
Why are you throwing the football to end the game? That's the only thing I was mad about Mike for. Why are you throwing the ball getting 3 and outs? Your defense is tired. That's how you get somebody hurt. If we up 30-something points, I don't care if it don't work. Run the ball and just run that clock to 1 second every time. That's it. I don't care if we only get 2 yards. If we up by that much, the game should have been over with, Scott. It should have been over with.
Yeah, that was my takeaway of the second half. It really wasn't about the offensive of production because they clearly didn't do anything to try to score points. So if that's the case, then why not work on the run game? Because that still is a facet of the game that I think you're going to have to really work at, $100,000 for all year, so that by the time you get to the end of the year, you have a really good groove of it. And again, it's week 1. I said this yesterday, and I'll say it more. It's week 1, so I'm not going to go crazy about it, but that is something I'd like to see them work on more as we move forward here. If you get into a situation on Sunday like you think, right, where it's another blowout in the fourth quarter, then let's let your backs close this thing out. And if it's not literally handing it off, why not just work on a short pass game to the backs, long handoffs like you did with Zeke, where you did the motion. The horizontal motion, and it got it to him. It was a screen basically out the backfield. It went down as a run, but it was a pass. Do stuff like that. But hopefully we see a little bit more because I came away from that wanting more from the run game. How your running backs average like 3.3 yards, 3.4 yards per carry, in general in the game. That's not great.
I don't care if you just run it, just get an I formation and just run out of that. I get it. You're up that much, Sky. Why are you putting more plays on tape? If the defense only showed 3 looks, I don't want my offense going out there running all these plays, getting a lot of plays on tape.
They didn't run nothing. They didn't run nothing like that though. $100,000. They didn't put nothing else on tape in that second half to make you be like, "Ooh, watch out for that." So I'll say that about them. They was basic. It was vanilla. It was like a preseason game.
And that's what I like about that thing, that right there. I like that Mike McCarthy did that. The game is over. Let's run vanilla stuff. Let's not show everything. I like that. So, I just feel like if you're going to run vanilla stuff, run running game vanilla stuff. Let's get our guys used to pushing forward. That's what I wanted to see at the end of that game. Hopefully, when we blow the Saints out, they just run the clock out. Hopefully he learns from that because I don't see a fight from the Saints. I'm just being honest. I don't see it.
Okay.
I don't see it.
All right. Hope you're right, bro.
I'm going to tell you this right now. Bold position right now. And I'm putting this on tape right now. Baltimore, W. I'm out, Scott.
All right, brother. Appreciate you, man. I saw somebody in the chat say we did try to run. I think we might have ran like 8 times in the second half. He said we tried to run in the second half. Somebody might want to fact check me on that. Fact check. But I always ask her anyway. Hey, if I'm wrong, somebody go pull that up. Was it 8 times? Nah, I get it. Ain't have the ball a whole lot in that second half, but it felt like they was trying to throw that ball, man. It was really strange to me. Trying to see if I can find the second half carries, but I want to say it was not a lot. It was not a lot, which did shock me a little bit. But again, week 1, I do feel like just the way it played out. This is me. I didn't hear anything. It just felt like, I didn't expect to be up like this. I had a plan. I had a plan for the first half. I had a plan for the second half, and I think they threw out the second half plan in general and kind of just was going with the flow here. Going with the flow. Yeah, I know Twyman. Twyman said we ran 19 times the whole game. And think about the 19 times, right? Like, think about this for a second. And if you don't count the Cooper Rush, Dak Prescott thing, just the running backs, you ran 19 times. That's what you're talking about. So CD Lamb and Brandon Cooks accounted for 4 carries. That was really the best part of your run game. That was the best part of your run game. Dowdle had a really good carry for 9 yards, 10 yards. And then Zeke went down as a 9-yard run, the one that was a pass. But outside of that, it was like 3.4 yards per carry. He did what he's supposed to do in a short game, 3rd and 3 in the red zone. But you didn't do a whole lot of anything run game wise schematically. So this will be interesting to see Sunday if they up the scheme part of it and the commitment part. That's the other thing too. You up that much and you still finished the game throwing the ball more than you ran it. That was interesting. That's what I'm saying. That was interesting. 34 Black said it was only 8 carries. 8. The game was at one point 33 to 10 or 27-10 or 27-3, but 27-10 I think it was, and we had 8 carries the rest of the way. That is interesting. That's all I'm saying. All right, 972. What it is, what it do? I'm all right. Good morning. I got you loud and clear.
All right, check it out. We got to stop 41. Kamara, because they're gonna try to run the ball, and number 7, because I watched their highlights, and they run the ball, and then what's that fake quarterback, like the slash guy, number 7, I don't know his name.
Taysom Hill, yeah, he's the wild card.
Yeah,
man.
you gotta stop him. And number 22, that's the fastest guy they got on their offense. They be trying to trap set.
Yeah, he a blazer.
Yeah, gotta stop him. Do you think our corners can match up with him? Our linebackers can stop their run because Overshaw, he gonna play good. Parsons gonna play good, and number 50 gonna play good. Do you think do you think we can stop them on defense? Because that's what they like, explosive plays. If you can keep the big plays from happening, we're gonna beat them.
Yeah, I think our secondary matches up with them for sure. I think it'll come down to the battle of the minds between Kubiak and Mike Zimmer though, because you can match up player for player, but if you get out schemed, for instance, right? Let's go back to last week. In my opinion, the Browns secondary or cornerbacks technically had the advantage over the Cowboys when you go look at player for player, right? But what happened on the touchdown pass? They got caught. They got caught with their pants down, and they got out schemed by really Dak. Dak saw what happened, calls some audibles, gets his protection set, and he hits he hits Cooks for the touchdown. So just because we may be able to match up with them, personnel wise, it's going to be up to, in my opinion, Kubiak to figure out a way to get one of these guys loose based off of how they draw it up. And I feel like Zimmer's up for the task, and these guys have been playing pretty disciplined, at least in camp in the first game. So they'll have to remain sound because bro is fast. He'll outrun an angle, and if your safety happens to jump a middle route like the Panthers did, and you leave the cornerback one-on-one where he's given inside leverage because he has safety help, I mean, that's an easy touchdown, right? So it'll be a battle of the minds.
Yeah. You think the backup tight end gonna play good? You think Ferguson got hurt, so he's probably out like two weeks, like 2 weeks, right?
I mean, that's what they say, bro. But yeah. They also talk about he's day to day now. They also talking about he has a shot. Okay,
that's even better.
Yeah, they saying he has a shot. I'm not as optimistic after that injury. He's gonna play the next week, which is Sunday. So you might need your backup tight ends, but it sounded like McCarthy was gonna lean more on Lipke, which is kind of an indictment on Schoonmaker. But he said Lipke's the first guy up, is what he said. I thought that was really interesting. He didn't say, hey, we're going to Schoonmaker, that's why you're here, et cetera, et cetera. He said, yeah, Hunter Lipke, he's been working here and working there, and he's the first guy up. So maybe we see a little bit more Lipke involved. And maybe, just maybe, this injury, hopefully short term, forces them to use Lipke more in that use check / Kuhn type of quasi role.
You think it'll be a shootout?
I just don't see this defense just yet. I can't look at. I know last week is different. I know it's week to week league. I tell you guys that all the time. I find it hard.
Copycat league though. Yeah.
I find it hard to see this defense just getting just.
It's
tough.
Getting us burnt. No,
it's tough. It's tough for me to see that right now. It's real early, but no, I don't see it. I don't see a shootout. If it's going to be a shootout, it's going to be because our offense is making them have to make some damn plays on the other side of the ball.
Yeah. I don't think they got no secondary though. They got Honey Badger, but I don't think
somebody mentioned something in the chat. And I looked on it.
5 years old. Yeah.
They might be without their best corner. We're gonna talk about that a whole lot tomorrow. We're gonna break all that down tomorrow though.
Have a blessed week, man. Go Cowboys. We're gonna win. I don't know the score, but I think we win by 3 touchdowns.
Oh, I love it.
You have a blessed one, okay?
Appreciate you, man. Right. Good stuff. 100 grand looking for the blowout. My man looking for the blowout. Saints fan said we got slow linebackers. I mean, we on the road today, baby. Hey, man, look. A couple callers said the Cowboys going to blow out the Browns. That happened. Yeah. We going crazy, though, man. You just never know. All right, let's keep it moving. Let's get to 929. What's good, 929?
What's going on, Scott? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Got you loud and clear. You and Scout back there, the dog.
Yeah, I'm doing the house right now. Earlier, I was doing the house when you called me in. That's why I was muted.
Got you.
Yeah, but I got you that content, though.
Yeah, you did. Appreciate you.
My question is, aside from like the pressures that's inevitably going to happen to the Saints, do you think that Derek Carr is cerebral enough to deal with like the disguised looks? Because there was a lot of times in that game where we really didn't send pressure like that, and Deshaun just looked widely confused.
Yeah.
And we all know Derek Carr, he can run a little bit, but he ain't a runner. He will get tracked down. Do you think that he can handle some of those types of looks, or he's just not?
Well, I think he sees it much better than Deshaun does at this point. Deshaun's a broken quarterback, just broken. Plus, again, I'm gonna keep leaning on this because this scheme makes it easier for you too. Like Carr's gonna see the game. He's been around for a while. This isn't. You're not playing a broken Deshaun. But Kubiak is going to put him in situations where he doesn't have to think a whole lot. But where you want to put them at, right, is 3rd and long. Because that's where Zimmer thrives now. That's where you're going to see those disguises. And look, I don't care how good you are as a quarterback, right? All the quarterbacks, if you can disguise it and you can cause pressure, that combination is tough. It just is what it is. That's why you see when there's pressure, on any quarterback, really, everything pretty much goes down. Now, I know Dak is number one against the blitz and things like that and pressure, but for the most part, majority of quarterbacks in this league, including Dak at times, when you disguise it and you get some good pressure, it's tough. You know, you make them come off that first read or second read and have to hold the ball, and that's just the way to land. And that's why these type of schemes to me are the ones that work best against cerebral quarterbacks. You want them, even though they can think and they can see the game really well, you want them thinking and having to do that all game. Because at some point, they're going to make a damn mistake. Nobody can be perfect all damn game. But hell, we did that to Brady. Brady's one of the best in the history of the game. We did that to him twice. Don't get it twisted. We lost to him in the week 1, but go back and watch that game. Brady wasn't nice like that, and he threw an interception because he got outdueled with the post-snap move. And then in the playoffs that same year, we did the same thing to him. So, and Peyton Manning, that happened to Peyton Manning when he went up against Belichick all the time. So.
Right. So with that being said, because that's my mind state going on, like as long as our defense plays sound, disciplined, don't run out of your lane defense, I think it's going for a lot of teams to beat us. I can see us winning 13, 14 games. We play that way. I honestly think that we're going to beat the dog life out of these boys. I don't think it's going to be close. I'll give them 20 points, but I can see it putting up 30, 40 on these guys just because their offense
breaking up there. You're breaking up there, 929. But I appreciate the call, and you got the Cowboys with another blowout. Appreciate you, man. Salute. I gotta watch. Hey, today is the day for me to watch this defense. I gotta watch this defense because y'all could be onto something. I haven't watched the defense just yet. And again, I'm not going to watch the defense, and it's a little bit tougher. A little bit tougher to do it this way. I'm going to watch the defense in how they're playing, not necessarily the who they're playing, which again, that's hard because the quarterback was awful in that game. I do remember a little bit of what I did see. But I'm going to watch this, man. Do they have a different coordinator? See, y'all got me I'm about to start the prep now. Who's their coordinator nowadays? I know Dennis Allen is a defensive guy. Does he still run theirs, or is it? See, that's why I gotta go study up on these boys' defense. Same coordinator, so that means Dennis Allen's running the same thing. So Dennis Allen is a respected defensive coordinator, so I'll give him that. And we did play at Dennis. Was it Sean Payton? Or was it Dennis Allen 2 years ago, y'all? It was Dennis Allen. So we did play a Dennis Allen team at the time, and their defense was a pretty respectable defense then. So we'll see. I'm going to go watch them. All right, let's get 361. I feel like my bad. Hold on, 361. My bad. I think we still got the Nolans dude still on the horn. But 361, we'll get to 336. I think that might be him. And Joe, and then we're going to close this thing out with Maserati. But what's good, 361?
What up, Sky? Down here in Rockport, Texas. Just curious, what do you think we're going to be able to do with just like a four-man pressure? Is their offensive line looking good this year? The Saints, I didn't really get to watch the game last week.
It's early, but they were really damn good last week against a porous defensive front. I like Talisi Fuaga, their rookie left tackle. They moved him from right to left, I think. I can't remember if he played right or left in college. And then Trevor Penning, the second-year pro, who I think is more of the mouse in the house guy to attack. So, you know, from a tackle standpoint, it's an upgrade from last week, sure, but I like our matchup against them.
100%. I mean, we can probably get there with a four-man pressure and not even have to blitz. That's what I'm looking at anyway. I'm going to do a little more research today when I start looking at the Saints, but I don't even think we're going to have to bring any pressure with our guys on the defensive line.
Well, you know Zimmer, the way he'll pressure you, it might look like he sent 5 or 6, but all he did was send 4 because he'll mug those A gaps. Mm-hmm. He'll maybe blitz one or blitz none. Maybe he'll blitz both linebackers and drop the defensive ends. He did that against the Browns. So, you know, there's a lot of there's a lot of things that, you know, Carr and them are going to prepare for. But guess what? Zimmer said this in his presser. Micah said this. Diggs said this. We didn't even show close to a lot of what we did. So on the other side of the coin, right? I talked about how Kubiak unloaded the clip. Now, again, I don't know his entire playbook. He probably didn't. But Kubiak showed a hell of a lot. There were a whole lot of different looks in this game you're going to have to prepare for. And then, so you're not really going to be caught off by surprise by some things. But for Cowboys, they didn't show a whole lot. So I think you will catch them by surprise with a few of the sets and looks. And you probably will need it because this is a better offense than last week.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Content, I watch you, Vosh, Grades, Foots, everybody. Huge diehard Dallas Cowboys fan. What do you think is Tolbert's gonna get to look like this week? Maybe he'll get more than one catch. You know what I mean?
Yeah, your wide receivers outside of Cooks and Lamb, it really wasn't much going on there. I would have loved. Actually, no, I wouldn't have. That means it's a closer game. I would have liked to have seen if they needed to truly air the rock out in the second half, where their defense started to clamp a little bit. If those other guys could make some plays, but it's not like they were targeted a whole lot. I think they got like 1 or 2 targets apiece, so they didn't even go to them. Again, this week I'm gonna study the Saints defense. I didn't study their defense just yet. We'll see what the matchups is like, but at some point, yeah, we're gonna want to see Tolbert and Brooks get involved here, get going. Sure.
You already know, man. Well, I appreciate the call, bro. Taking my call, and you already know, Cowboys Nation, go Cowboys. We on it today. Let's go.
Yes, sir. Salute. Appreciate you.
All right.
Yeah, let me, again, I'm a little slight. Let me get you up out of here, 361. Let me see who they got. So didn't we face Adebo and Lattimore before? And it sounds like Lattimore is hurt. He's dealing with a hamstring issue. Again, I'll do more research. I was reading an article by Caller called, I don't know how serious this is. He left the game early and did not return. He downplayed the injury as a minor injury. So that's something to keep an eye on. You know how groins are. That is huge. Huge, if he's not available. Is this the Saints fan? Yeah. Is this the Saints fan? Yeah. What's up, 336? I couldn't remember if this was the Saints fan from earlier. I thought he was a 337.
No. Before I say anything, I want to give a salute to you, Skywalker. I watch your program, you, Lord Nation, and Vouch. So he ain't know what he was talking about, man. I watched your program for years, and I love it.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. It means a whole lot. You have no idea.
Yeah, so I give you salute. I had to do that. The respect before I even say anything. I got to give you your props because you deserve it.
Thank you. What's on your mind?
All right, first what I want to say, I know everybody was coming on here talking about offense, but you was talking about defense, and I want to say this. Overshawn got hurt last year as a rookie, and I was telling people how good he is. Mm-hmm. Some of us Cowboy fans, we go in there saying we're going to blow him out. And, last year we won big, and then when we came back, we didn't look that good. We got to just be patient, let the defense develop. I believe we got good people on defense. I believe Zimmer is a good fit. But I believe sometimes we can get a little overconfident. What you think?
Yeah, I think that is a common theme for the players, the organization, and fans as well. But you know what? As fans, I don't necessarily get on fans for that, right? Because we're fans, If you I mean, you can feel any way you want to feel. That's not going to affect the game. You know what I'm saying? So you're right that we do sometimes get overconfident. I fall for it sometimes too. That's why the more and more I do this, the more I say, man, week to week, one game at a time. Let's evaluate the opponent because I've been down this road before where I got my chest poked out and they go out here and lose to the Cardinals. You know what I'm saying? So but I think look. I'm not in the locker room, but I feel like sometimes they've come out and said it themselves. As players, they've started to smell themselves a little bit too much, right? I think Micah might have came out and said it. I think a couple of the other players might have came out and said it where they thought that, everything it's good to go. Hell, some of the coaches might have felt that way. And I specifically remember in that Micah podcast where he was like, hey, man, we let a lot of things go because we was winning and everybody was, we the Cowboys, we winning. But there was things that they felt they needed to to adjust to. They needed to fix, and they weren't being fixed, and it came back and bit them in the ass. So as players, I hope they're not smelling themselves this damn early. I hope they're not getting overconfident. One thing to be confident, right? I don't mind you being confident, but don't overlook anybody. And the Cardinals should definitely have shown you that.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
Shown you that, boy.
You hit it fast. I want to say this. We play in New Orleans. And how I look at it is Cleveland defense, as far as front four, linebacker, and DB is a better overall defense than New Orleans is. So that's one thing. Right. Another thing I got to say is that we had one game under our belt. You know, it's opening game, so some of them had to get the jitters out. So we're going to be 10 times better than we was in that Cleveland game. And even on offense, you had a rookie tackle in Guyton. You had a rookie center in Cooper Beebe. You got to understand, that was their first game playing, and Cooper Beebe don't even play center. So you think after he got that on his belt, got a little confidence, he going to be better. Yeah. And then they talking about the receiver, Kaleem Carson. He a rookie. He got one under his belt and built more confident. So that's going to make it harder on the next person that's coming to play him. Each time he plays, the more confidence he gets, the more it's going to make it harder on the next team and the next receiver. That's just what I believe.
Nah, I love it because, you know, I've always wanted at least the rookie lineman to get thrown out there. You know why? So that they can do this. They can get tested. Right. They can go through the ups and downs. So by the time you get to where the games become even more important, even though each game is important, they're more important once it starts getting tight. They are prepared for this. I never really believed this whole, we're going to have Brock Hoffman and Chuma Edoga. Yeah. Now, I didn't think that Carson was going to start, but injuries happen. So this is going to be good for him, which means it's going to be good for the team. Because, you know, when your all-pro comes back, Carson probably gets back, becomes part of the rotation and not a starter. But if something happens, and it usually does, guys get injured, he's ready. You know, he has that confidence. I went up against Amari Cooper, Jerry Jeudy, Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed. Who's next week? Zay Flowers maybe, and whatever, right? I went up against some good wide receivers. Now I got that confidence to know I can do it in a real game. So, yeah, getting these rookies out there early could be a blessing in disguise. Will be, I think. Well,
I got one last thing to say before I go. I appreciate it. I came on here to get on your show, and I got on here. I've been on Law Nation just to talk to y'all. I just want to say this. I'm just looking at more of the team, of the discipline. I think on defense, we was more disciplined. I look at us last year, we had so many penalties and so many things. We was undisciplined. We didn't stay in that gap. Mm-hmm. It seemed like the defense that Zimmer put in there, it seemed like we so disciplined. Everybody knows what they're doing, and they can fly around. When you know what you're doing, you don't have to hesitate. So I like that. And I want to say this. Keep up the good work because you got a great show.
Man, that, like I said, means a ton, bro. Appreciate it, and great call.
Okay.
It's definitely it feels, I mean, it's 1 week, y'all, but it definitely feels like a big difference in how sound this defense is because they're playing on a string. Somebody in the chat, maybe it was Willie T, who said, you know, they're playing as one. Y'all know my motto, right? When it comes to the offensive line, hell, you can use this for the defense. 1 is greater than 5. And shouts out to Game of Thrones. That's where I got it from. We use it for the offensive line, though, because there's 5 offensive linemen, but you can use that for the defense. I'm not saying this. The defenders are saying this. The players are saying that they were basically told, just basically go use your athletic ability, your skills. Go make plays. Go. I think it was Hooker who was like, yeah, man, this defense, they're not going to, you know, be asking us to just go out there and do your own thing. One of the things I was telling to me was what Micah said, where it was like, man, he's teaching us the whys to everything. I've learned more in my time with Zimmer about defense than ever before. Again, no knock to the previous regime. The previous regime looked at Mike and said, damn it, you can rush the passer. That's all I need you to do. Right? But when you have an understanding about what your assignment means for the other player, again, go listen to this damn Mike Zimmer presser. It might not be as rah-rah as Dan, but there was some cool things in there. And you saw it play out on the field. One of the plays, Michael Parsons tipping the ball in the air. Hey, I don't need you flying upfield when you're free like this. Not against this quarterback. Your job is to do X, Y, Z. Well, why, coach? Well, because A, if you contain him, we'll get home with the blitz. Or we'll fake the blitz like they did with, who was it? Kendricks. Kendrick peels back, and if you stay containment, you either A, break down and get the sack, or B, if he throws it, get your hands in the air and tip. You saw Jeff Scanino working with those guys, trying to get there. He was screaming at Mozzie Smith, get your hands up. You're not going to be asked this year to rush the passer and get to the quarterback. You're going to be asked to play these damn blocks, get your damn hands up. And they did that. That's the defense playing as one, as opposed to individuals. It's one game for sure, but it is encouraging to see. Talk about a stark contrast with the next two. Joe Sandberg and then Maserati. What's up, Joe?
Doing good on this Victory Wednesday. But the few things that the Saints fan really got messed up. One, this is not the Panthers cornerback by far.
Oh, you're talking about that Saints fan?
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. He look, man. He's a fan. I should have realized. Look, some of these fans are fanatics. They don't really pay attention to other teams. They came off a big victory and they think they the world's greatest thing since sliced bread. So I should have took that into account. But you're right. Like Joe said, brother, this ain't that. This Cowboys defense is not the Panthers defense. So you're absolutely right, Joe.
Yeah. And the one thing I was looking at this game, it's not like they have to play against like a Njoku who was either like an All-Pro or a Pro Bowl type of tight end.
Yeah,
a little bit better for us.
Yeah, they're not Pro Bowl tight ends, but they do have they're skilled. They're skilled, and Kubiak uses them. So. And again, maybe it's PTSD. We've seen tight ends give the Cowboys trouble in the past, but this is a different scheme. So I'm excited to see how they do it moving forward. They did well against Njoku. Now he dropped the pass, wide open pass, but they did well enough. He ended up getting hurt. But I think they're going to scheme things more for these tight ends. But I do also wonder though, Joe and chat, will they do what I thought the Cowboys were going to do last week, which was, hey, we know this pass rush can get home. Let's use our tight ends more to protect Derek Carr. And if that's the case, cool. Send your 2 wide receivers out until it's C of 7. Would love it.
Well, and I think it's good that we play against Jerome Ford, so you're a little bit prepared more for this week with that type of running back.
Say that again. I'm sorry, Joe.
Good thing we did play against Jerome Ford this last week.
Mm-hmm.
That way you're a little bit more prepared for Kamara.
Different backs to me, Joe. But different backfield, different everything run game wise. This one's going to test you more, and good. I say bring it, right? The Cowboys need to be tested for real. I thought they'd be more deliberate in running the ball. So did Zimmer. He was a little bit surprised how much they didn't run the ball against us. I think they're gonna test us more, and I can't wait because that all offseason we're like, hey, if the Cowboys can just be solid against the run, that opens up everything for this defense. And they were more than solid last week, and they'll be tested this week.
The one thing that one of you callers said about Derek Carr, it's going to make Derek Carr think, but also that if you miss the assignments as a center, everything well. If you don't know who's blitzing, who's not blitzing, everything's a lot more disguised. The center better call that thing just not near perfect.
Yeah. each week, I know one thing that's going to be consistent is that Mike Zimmer is going to put pressure on this offensive line every week. I don't care how good your O-line is. A look can make an all-pro look like an average person because they call protection. And man, it was one play, and I'll leave it at this, Joe. Appreciate the call, brother. Good stuff. It was one play, and I think Tuck might have brought it up, but this might have been a different one. Okay. Matter of fact, wasn't it? It was a sack. I think it was the play that Overshown got the sack, where they showed they mugged the A gaps. Now you're playing the cat and mouse. Watson gets up, he's audibling. Immediately, the linebackers back out, and that confuses the protection. That confuses the quarterback. He has to hold the ball, runs around, boom, we get the sack. And then there was another play where they mugged the A gaps, literally rushed the two linebackers and dropped the defense ends, confused the quarterback, boom, they get a sack. That's every week, y'all. That's every single week. And they'll have to prepare for that. And there's looks they haven't seen that they'll have to, well, they can't prepare for it, but they'll probably get caught by surprise with. And again, if you missed what Mike Zimmer said, I'll play it one more time. But Zim was like, as coaches, we got to do a little bit better in getting our guy who's our best juice rusher, our best guy that gets pressure real fast. We have to be better at getting him free, because one thing they didn't do on Sunday was get home fast.
There was a lot of times I wanted to use some other ways, but we didn't get to it, so we'll save them for the next couple weeks. But yeah, I mean, he's a dynamic guy, and we want to try and get him a lot of different places and do a lot of different things with him. You know, they have to figure out where he was. We got a lot more of the double chip protection in this ball game than we anticipated. And we knew they did it, but you know, we need as coaches, we need to do a better job of helping him out with you know, some other of our alignments so that he's not getting chipped every single play.
There you have it. Hey, Smoke, this, I think I got this from Fanatics. Somebody was asking about the hoodie. I got this one and then the cream one. I ordered them together last year. I got it from Fanatics. I dropped the link last year. I don't have the link no more though, but I'll look it up for you, bro. All right, send us out of here, Maserati Mar. What's up?
What up, family? How you doing?
I'm good. How you?
I'm good, brother. I just listened to your show. Man, I'm just ready for this week. I'm not gonna be too worried because his defense, he don't be showing people a lot, but he's gonna confuse. They do like going down the field. Is he gonna have time to throw downfield?
Right.
Question.
Right.
And he like to throw screens. He gonna run right into our hands with them linebackers. That's why I love what he do. He scheme it up every week. So it makes the quarterbacks have to think every week. And we never had that. This ain't Dan Quinn. So I'm loving everything about this. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people is going to be shocked. I'm not even worried still. I'll tell you something. This is the most comfortable I've been in a long time because we never schemed. And we never had the big nasties. And we never really had a linebacker that could put our boys in the right spot to do their job.
I'm with you on two of those three. I mean, I'm not the biggest LVE fan, but LVE definitely was that guy that got you in the right, put you in the right spots. But I don't think he was as good as Kendricks. So I'll say that. But you're right in the sense of at least in the Dan Quinn era, it doesn't feel like it was you were scheming guys up, or you were scheming teams up. It didn't feel like you had the big guys in the middle. You definitely didn't, and then the linebackers to match it. I think you kind of got that kind of trio going right now, where you got the big fellas in the middle, you got the backers that complement that, and Zim week to week is going to show you different things. You're not going to just run the same thing week in, week out, and then when you run into one of these competent coordinators, they're like, oh, okay, that's easy cover one beaters, easy man beaters. You know, easier said than done when you have a pass rush, but when you can match it, it's trouble.
It's trouble, and we owe him a whooping anyway. Cause that one time, was that at Thanksgiving when Carr beat us with the Raiders?
Yeah, that was 2021 Thanksgiving Anthony Brown game.
Yeah, we owe him a butt. We owe him a butt whooping.
Yeah. We
And
definitely.
And like you said, all these quarterbacks been loving playing at the car. Oh, we know they're gonna play one safety back, man to man, acting like we got all Deion Sanders out there, and we don't. And they love that easy scheme to read. Oh man, I'm just love. I told everybody it was tripping when we got my man, the D coordinator.
You told
and
him.
Now they see the difference. I'm old school. I love a defense that make you confused, and like you say, what's gonna happen? You said that too. Said what's gonna happen when we can't get interceptions or turnovers? Can we get off the field?
Right. Yeah, Mark. And again, week one, try not to overreact too much, but I know they got a pick, but before that pick, they still was whooping these dudes. Think about it. They didn't have no turnovers in that game. They just shut them dudes down. And that's one thing I wanted to see, right? Was if the Cowboys can do that against this scheme, right? Where we got a turnover, but you still held them to 14 points, 17 points, and your defense was consistently making things difficult all game, and maybe they score a meaningless touchdown at the end. Boy, that's different, bro. That's different. It's not too many times, you walk away last year and say, man, the defense dominated, but they had 0 turnovers or 1 turnover. Like, it usually came with 3, 4, turnovers.
And you said, hey, I've been listening to you. People better listen. Hey, if you said, when do you get a defense? Everybody says, oh, we love that. No, these people loving this. They like it. They looking at chop. Man, we only ran 3 schemes. It's like me and you run 3 schemes. We go back next week to go back in the lab. Man, we only ran 3. Oh, my God. We had like 50 more schemes to run. We finna confuse this quarterback too. And he know it's coming. Carr and them going to be shocked this week. He going to throw 2 or 3 interceptions, I'm telling you.
He definitely got that in his bag. We've seen him do that for sure. we seen
look, and we got 2 big nasties that we never had. I'm telling you that we never had. You know what I'm saying? So I'm excited. I love this defense, man.
I can tell, Mark.
I
love it.
Better and better. I was so excited. I tell you,
as you should be, man.
I've been waiting for this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But still, I've been waiting for this day, man. And we just keep doing what we're doing. And the offense, look, offense got to catch up to the defense, and they will. They're gonna get better and better.
They will
every week.
They will. So in closing, Marv. In closing.
In closing, man, just keep doing what you're doing. All the Cowboy fans, one game at a time, and let's kick this butt. How about them Cowboys and all the haters, especially all the announcers that keep don't giving us credit, and let them keep doing that. It's just gonna make us whoop butt every day. Salute.
You know it's good when Marv start hitting the whispering gate. Oh, I can't wait for it. You know it's good. You know Marv feeling it. It's an exciting time for the defense after what they put out there. And I'll leave it at that. I was about to talk about that guy earlier. But yeah, man, Carr, look, if they block it up, sure. He'll make things difficult for you, but this ain't that. I acknowledged the Saints offense is not the Browns offense. Clearly. I mean, that's what the day was about. As long as you Saint fans, caller, can acknowledge this Cowboys defense is not the Panthers. Because it didn't feel like you was on that trajectory there, bro. Felt like you thought we was rolling out some garbage defense. All right, let's get some supers on the way out. Boom. Bow. Let's do it, man.
Super chat.
We got the Coleman show, or the Coleman Cowboy, who I think he has a show. So shouts out to him. Make sure y'all check that out. Dropped 2 and said, our defense will set the tone. Watch. That usually at the crib, man. How many times now? Again, different skin, but how many times last year? Interception, stops, and the next thing you know, it's a route. But that is something that maybe that we'll talk about more and more. We get to talk about this game and preview this game, maybe more so offensively. Y'all know how this Cowboys offense is at home. It's a whole different animal. Playoffs aside, there's a whole different animal, and they usually get up enough to where now the defense pins their ears back. But if it's one of those situations where the defense is out there, physical, maybe they get the turnover, stop, whatever. Yeah, that does feel different to me, man. When you're just dominating an opponent and you're not even turning the ball over much. Turnovers might go down. We talked about that. Zim talked about that. Maybe they don't, but I feel like you're not going to lead the league in turnovers. You might in sacks. You might in third down defense. Red zone, like all of these things are just as important in my opinion. East Coast Cowboy.
Super chat.
Drop 5 and says, Sky, as long as we run, hit, talk, we will be Gucci. Well, that guy's not on the team anymore, but I saw an energy from the linebacker core that we haven't seen in years, bro. Good stuff. Yeah, man, I think that was the best game that the linebackers have played since 2018. Maybe there was other games, sure. That was the best I've seen a duo at least play. It's a whole different animal behind that defensive line. And then D-Lay dropped
super chat.
Drop 5 and said, man, get your out of here because NFC South can go 3 ways. We here for you, Sky. Appreciate you, D-Lay. Yeah, you know I don't like to put the do-rag on, but I don't mind debating and going back and forth. Y'all know that. Y'all know I'll do that. That's for damn sure. Come correct. And maybe I should have gave him the benefit of the doubt. There's no way in hell the guy's seen my show before. Just no way. There's no way. But we're playing the Saints. This happens from time to time. You get opposing fans coming up in here and get a little froggy, you know, because this ain't ESPN, so they feel like I can call in here and just say whatever the hell I want to say. Well, no, sir, you cannot. You can't, man. But if we happen to see you down the line, if you want to call in tomorrow when we talk about your defense, well, now you know. Now you know. Don't mind debating with you. Don't mind going back and forth with you. But just remember, it's not the Saints morning show. It's the... I used to be one of them. I used to call in the shows. I used to call in the DA show, ESPN show. I did it all, man. I wait, man, 15, 20 minutes. I'm waiting. I have never just been so blatantly ridiculous on the phone to these hosts. I digress. There's some phone etiquette to this thing. I've come a long way. For those who've been here from day one, I've come a long damn way. A lot of y'all say I got patience, but sometimes I feel like I'm still working on that damn patience. But I come a long way. And I give y'all some rope. More rope than you'll get on ESPN, CBS, and elsewhere. But I'll be damned. And I'll leave it at that. If y'all enjoyed today's breakdown, please hit that like button on the way out. Share this one. I feel like our game previews, I don't know, man. I feel like it's up there with the best of them. I do. I feel like if you want a real good in-depth look into the opponent each week and then how the Cowboys can match up against that, I think I do a fantastic job with this. So, and I'm not trying to pat myself on the back. It's just that I'm trying to get you guys to share this with the Cowboy friends. If they are looking for this type of content, we know the 4-letter network's not going to give it to you. Okay? We know that. With that said, man, I think we good. I definitely hit him with the triple A, Carol. I definitely hit him with the Triple H theme, almost, or the meme. I actually have a video. I just don't have it loaded in here for that. Man, hey, Glenn, I went off on a lot of people. So which one you talking about? Which one you talking about? All right, let's get up out of here, man. Good stuff. Have fun today. Tomorrow we're going to break down this Saints defense. And from the sounds of it, a lot of y'all very confident. Very confident. I'm excited to take a look at it and give my thoughts on this Saints defense. All right. With that said, make sure y'all check out the rest of the community. They'll be dropping probably starting right this second.
Push the goddamn button. Push the goddamn button.
I'm up out of here. You know, Nashawn, I wouldn't mind going to the Super Friends panel from time to time. I haven't really talked ball with a few of them. I recently talked ball with one of them for the first time, and he was like, damn, I appreciate the talk. Yeah, I'm going to do the trolling and all like that. I'll talk some ball. I'm out of here. Love y'all. Peace.